Hello guys and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Kat and this is my prep series. Today guys, we are going to have another sit down video, so feel free to grab your energy drink of choice, coffee, grab a snack, because we're going to chit chat for a little bit. I'm going to do a full kind of Q&A, kind of like get to know me style video for you guys, because I didn't realize that I have a little bit of a different audience on here versus on Instagram. So some of you guys might not fully know me, who I am, what I do, what my story is, why I'm here, all of the basic information. So I am going to go over all of that, kind of tell you guys, how I got into fitness, how I found bodybuilding, all of the good stuff. Get to know me a little bit better and also answer a couple of your guys' questions that you sent in to me on Instagram. First things first though, I do want to talk a little bit about my check-ins, give you guys a little update. Now, I was sick all week last week, and now Tori's parents are here visiting, and also if you guys follow me on Instagram, you know that I completely couldn't use any of my footage that I filmed this whole video already last week, so I'm refilming it now, and since then 2 check-ins have passed, so I'm just gonna go ahead and update you guys on my most recent check-ins, because there hasn't been a lot of changes at all, just because literally a whole week was just kind of a wash because I was super sick. So last you guys heard from me was dealing with a lot of like low energy, kind of like really feeling prep. That turned out to be me just getting sick, which honestly I am thankful for. Obviously I'd rather not be ill, but I would rather have my low energy be coming from something like an illness versus just normal prep things, especially this early on. I was kind of getting nervous, like, okay, this early on I'm feeling this crappy, like, oh no, like how is it gonna feel when I'm really getting lean? So thankful for that. I am feeling probably like 90% better. I still have like a runny nose, so I might be a little sniffly throughout this, but energy is definitely on the come up, and I'm so happy about that. I'm feeling so good. I'm finally feeling alive again. So most recent check-in, I kind of just told Jamie that I was like feeling sick for the whole week. I actually didn't train pretty much the whole week. I got one good leg day in, and then one like half a leg day in, and no cardio at all, but I still did drop. The lowest I did hit was 144.8, and that was about where I was at for my check-in. So I'll go ahead and put those check-in pictures here for you guys. Honestly, really happy with how I'm looking. I feel like my waist is looking super, well, not super tight, because I know there are smaller waists, but for me, my waist is like pretty super freaking tight compared to my peak week of nationals, which was the last show I competed in, versus now. My waist is actually like 2 inches smaller. Like 2 inches, give or take, smaller, which is literally insane given I'm 15 pounds heavier now, and obviously a higher body fat. I'm not stage lean yet, so I'll put that comparison right here for you guys if you do want to look at that, but that's pretty crazy to me. So that is a really good sign, because that's something that I've always seen as a weakness for myself, and again, I'll get into this in the Q&A because that's actually one of the questions I've been asked, but it's always something I've seen as a weakness for myself, as I've always had like a pretty blocky waist. So to see that atrophy, I'm very happy about. Now, the check-in before this check-in, the one I didn't go over with you guys, I was kind of nervous that since my weight didn't drop much, Jamie was going to start pushing things and drop my macros, but she was actually really happy with my check-ins then and these check-ins, so still nothing has changed. Obviously, with me getting sick and whatnot, she's not going to go ahead and just drop macros as I'm getting better, because that would probably be pretty counterproductive. So still smooth and steady on the same macros. Haven't changed anything. Really the only drop of anything we've had so far in this prep, just kind of recap, is adding in 5 minutes of cardio. So we're feeling good. We're feeling pretty good. Macros aren't anything like crazy abnormally high. Like Honestly, they're probably on the low side for people, but I'm feeling really good. We haven't had to drop anything just yet, so I am super happy, super excited, and as long as I continue to put in the consistent work that I've been doing, I'm hoping that we'll be able to keep that rolling. But that's pretty much what it's been like for check-ins. Nothing crazy, no changes, and we're all happy over here, so happy about that. So let's go into the Q&A portion of things. I guess I should probably like introduce myself, who I am, what I do. There's also that, but obviously my name's Kat. I'm 27 years old. I'm originally from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I know, boring, but now I live in Orange County, California. I've been out here since 2016 and I love it. I've been a personal trainer since 2017, personal trained for a while, and now I'm an online coach. I do all the fitness things. I am pretty much just fitness in a nutshell. I just wanted to start off talking about kind of how I got started into fitness and my fitness journey overall. I do actually have a video on this channel talking about my fitness journey and how I got started into fitness and kind of more in depth. But I did film that, I want to say like 3 years ago, so I honestly don't even know what I said in that video. So I'm going to give kind of the Cliff Notes version of things. So I did play sports pretty much my whole life growing up. I played pretty much every sport under the sun, which I feel like did give me a very good foundation of athletic ability and I guess a little bit of muscle. It was when I was a kid, so it's not like it's anything crazy. It's not like I played into college and whatnot. I did end up quitting all of my sports going into my sophomore year of high school. Long story short, my main sport was softball, and I played softball year round. I played school softball in the fall, and I played travel softball in the spring. But I had the same coach for both of those, and something happened with my coach for my travel team and just so happened to be my coach for my school ball, and it was kind of a big falling out, and I started getting treated unfairly, and it was just not worth it. I actually contemplated switching schools so I could play softball at a different school, but then I kind of just fell out of it, lost the love for it after all of that. Was draining. Made me feel invalidated and whatnot, so I ended up just quitting all of my sports at that point because I quit all of them for softball. So at that point, not playing any sports, and really struggled with my mental health, and that's a big thing I struggled with, and that's what led to a lot of my weight gain. So being an athlete, playing all these sports, being a teenager, going through puberty, and stopping all of that and continuing to eat as an athlete, and then on top of that having mental health issues and having all these friends who could still eat like a teenager could eat and not gain any weight, I started to gain a lot of weight. My relationship with food was less than ideal. I was a food addict. I ate junk food constantly. I ate like crap. Like, it's actually kind of scary to think back of how I used to eat. Like, pretty gross, not a nutrient to be found in my body, zero knowledge of how to properly eat, properly fuel myself. I ate out every single meal. I ate a lot of food. I found comfort in food. I wouldn't call it necessarily binge eating. I just ate like complete garbage, drank a lot of soda and all of that. So gained a lot of weight. My highest weight was around the 220s, 230s. So pretty up there. I started to get into fitness, and by into fitness I mean I started to kind of watch what I ate, and at the beginning it really was just little swaps for me. It was, just picking a better option at a restaurant. If I had a burger, I would take the bun off. I would not drink as much soda, like little tiny swaps like that. But when you are eating so terribly, you can get away with making those little swaps and still seeing progress. So I was able to do that. That was 2014 into 2015. My freshman year of college, I was just at that point where I was like, I think I'm just sick of hating myself and feeling sorry for myself, and like, if I don't do anything, nothing's going to change and it's just going to continue. So I'm really happy I did realize that and make that choice, because a lot of people don't even get to that point to where they realize like, hey, this is all up to me, and if I don't do anything, then nothing's gonna happen. So again, nothing crazy. All I would do is like go to the gym, do the elliptical for as long as I felt like, a couple times a week, do like a little ab circuit, and that's it. But again, like I said, when you're first starting out, you don't need to go to 0 to 100. You can go 0 to 10 and still see that progress. So that's what I did see. Started feeling pretty good about myself. I wasn't perfect by any means, don't get me wrong. I still ate out. It just wasn't to the extent of what I did before. So I could kind of get away with that for a couple years, and I didn't really even get like an actual gym membership until I got a Planet Fitness membership in 2015, 2016. I want to say it was the beginning of 2016, and that's when I really got into like the HIIT workouts, the Kayla Etsinas workouts, the sweat app. If you guys know, you know, like kind of traumatizing thinking back to that, but that's how I got into it. I started trying to like run. That was a very short-lived thing. And again, my diet didn't really change much. I think I just started eating like more fruit, I guess, cooking at home a little bit more, but again, nothing crazy. It's not like I tracked macros right out of the gate and like knew what I was doing. So it was a slow learning process. I really started losing weight, I want to say, once we moved out to California in 2016. I really started to put a focus on that because I could. It's not like I was at home or anything. I felt like it was kind of a new start. I could really put my focus into working out. I went vegan for a bit, but I went vegan the wrong way. There's a right and wrong way to go about being vegan, and I truly still do believe that being vegan is one of the healthiest ways that you can live, but I did it the way of, I would pretty much only eat carbs, only eat fruit. I wouldn't necessarily fuel my body. I would eat like the junk food, vegan foods, things like that. So I still wasn't very happy with how I was looking. Yes, I was losing weight, and I was doing these crazy, insane HIIT workouts and just trying to burn as many calories as possible, but I got to that kind of like skinny fat phase, and I was just, no matter how small I got, no matter how much weight I got, I still wasn't happy with how I was looking and happy with myself. So then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna lift weights. I'm gonna be like all these badass girls I see on Instagram, and I'm gonna feel good about myself. So I slowly started learning about lifting weights, and this is probably like 2017. Slowly got into lifting weights, and again, it wasn't something that was overnight. It wasn't like it is now. I feel like now lifting weights is kind of the go-to for a lot of people, just based off of what you see on Instagram and TikTok. It really wasn't like that yet. There wasn't a lot of fitness influencers out there. There was like the OGs like Nikki Blackketter and Heidi Summers, and like Whitney Simmons, but it wasn't like every girl on TikTok now goes to the gym and knows what they're doing and has all this information out there. It was kind of figuring it out myself. Like I remember going on bodybuilding.com and looking up workouts and what to do and how to get into bodybuilding. So I really just kind of had to learn for myself. It's so nice now that there's so much information, but it's also like kind of hard because there's also, with the information comes the misinformation. But I didn't really get into like bodybuilding style of training until about 2018. I started working at this gym as a personal trainer. Fresh little baby personal trainer, still not super knowledgeable about lifting, but I knew my way around a gym. Like I knew what I was doing. But this gym really introduced me to the more bodybuilding side of things and that kind of lifestyle. And that's kind of how I found bodybuilding, which is the next thing I wanted to talk about, is like how I got into bodybuilding. Because again, it's not like I went on Instagram and saw all these girls competing, because at that point it still wasn't something like it is now where you go on Instagram and every girl who steps into a gym wants to compete. It was something I found through the gym I went to, and I saw these pictures on the walls of these girls in the bikinis, and I was like, hey, like that's kind of cool. Like I could probably never do that. Like I just like to lift, and I really fell in love with lifting at this point. I loved feeling strong. I loved lifting heavy. I lifted kind of different than I do now, because now it's a little bit more specialized towards shaping my body for bikini, but this really gave me a really good foundation of muscle that I have now. I did a lot of kind of powerlifting style movements. My main goal really was to just lift as heavy as possible. I would deadlift a lot. This is where I would squat. I do rack pulls, heavy lat pull down. I really just, you know, stick to the basic bodybuilding movements and try to move as much weight as possible, which that's how you're going to build the muscle at the beginning. And this is when I started, you know, getting into nutrition a little bit more, tracking macros. The owner of the gym actually coached me for a bit. Now, this was a learning experience within itself, and it could be a whole nother topic, but didn't necessarily give me the best guidance, but again, led me into the direction of where I am now. So end of 2018, November, I actually hired my first official bodybuilding coach and decided, okay, I'm hiring a coach with the intent to compete one day, to step on stage. So I started a reverse diet, getting my macros to the right place, working with a coach, doing the right kind of workouts. Still not to the point, still not the kind of workouts I'm doing now. I feel like I finally have a coach who is guiding me 100% in the right direction. But again, starting out. And the first time I competed was in 2019. I started my first prep in March of 2019. Little itty baby Cat. Maybe I'll post some pictures here. Little itty bitty baby Cat, my first prep. And now since then, I've taken a couple year-long off seasons, which are key to progressing in the sport. Year-long off seasons. This will now be my third season competing, and I am super excited. And this is when I decided to, hey, I'm gonna document this for everyone, because I know even though it is popular these days, I feel like it's not talked about enough and like shown the day in, the day out, the grind, what people go through. And I think it's really important to put this information out here so people can realize before they jump into a prep what exactly they're getting into, because that can be the downfall for a lot of people. You get into a prep not knowing what you're getting into, and then you're way in over your head. You ruin your relationship with food, you ruin your relationship with your body. But again, topic for another time. We're doing a Q&A right now. But that's kind of how I got started into bodybuilding. Again, there wasn't really those people that we have today, or it wasn't super popular like it is today, where you just hop on Instagram and all these girls are competing, TikTok, all these girls are competing. It was something I just kind of found organically, and something that just kind of made sense for me. I never really questioned, like, should I compete? Should I do this? I saw it and I was like, hey, this is definitely something I want to do. Because again, growing up, playing every sport under the sun, I'm naturally a very competitive person. So it's always nice for me to have that goal to work towards and always progress. So competing is something that just made 100% sense to me. And it's something from the first time I step on stage, I knew was going to be part of my life until I'm physically pulled off that stage. It's something that just lights a fire in me. And I know a lot of people can bodybuild and it's not for them, and they blame it for an eating disorder, but I think that really stems from something else internally, and that's not something that you can blame on bodybuilding. Bodybuilding has brought nothing but positive things into my life. It's taught me so much about myself, so much about, you know, so much about my strength, inner strength, mental strength, physical strength. Obviously, it's just made me a better person and just taught me that I can really do anything, and nothing really is hard. Hard is subjective, and as long as you push yourself and just stay focused and consistent, you can really achieve anything in your life. So I'm very, very thankful and grateful that I found bodybuilding, and it's here to stay in my life, and I'm gonna document it for you guys. So that's, again, how I got into fitness, how I got started in bodybuilding. Let's get into some of the questions that you guys want to know about. So, was fitness always my passion? And no, it was not. Like I said, I grew up playing sports and whatnot. I was obese at one point, struggled with my weight, all of that. And I did struggle for a long time about what my passions were and what my path was in life. And I feel like this is something that a lot of people might struggle with. So important to find your passions, and it doesn't have to be fitness, it doesn't have to be nutrition, but whatever makes you feel most fulfilled in life, it's so important to find that. So I struggled with that for a long time, kind of just going through the motions of life and not really knowing who I am or what I was meant to be, what I was meant to do. And I feel like that's the big root cause of what a lot of my mental health issues were. When you're not sure of why you're here or what you're doing, you don't feel like you have a purpose, obviously your mental health isn't going to be great. But I ended up finding that, and I am so thankful, and it truly does feel, it feels right, and it feels like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I wish I had an answer of like how to find that, but it really just takes doing the self-growth, doing the deep inner work, kind of figuring out who you are and what you do like, trying different things. It's okay to try things and not like them, but the only way you're going to find that passion is if you actively try to find it and look for it. So it's not easy and it doesn't happen overnight, but I promise there is something for you. And once you do find your passion and find that thing that lights you up and fulfills you, do everything you can in your power to prioritize that in your life, and you'll be the happiest version of yourself. It's so important. Who are my idols in the sport? Now, this is something that I really struggle to answer this question, and it's because I don't have anyone that I necessarily idolize. There's not someone that pops in my head. Now, there are people who I admire their physique, but when it comes to idolizing something or someone, the way I think about that is kind of their journeys and their struggles and what they've been through. And that's what I feel like makes someone a good idol. And for me personally, to be able to be like, wow, I really idolize this person, I feel like it would have to be someone who's been through the same struggles that I've been through and have overcome them. But in reality, there's never going to be anyone who has the same struggles or same journey that you've had. And to be honest, what motivates me more than any other athlete, top Olympian out there is myself. I motivate myself more than anything, and just looking back on old me versus now and seeing how far I've come just by putting in the work, that motivates me a lot more than anyone out there could ever motivate me. I'm very internally motivated, which I don't know if that's something that a lot of people can say, but there's nothing more fulfilling than seeing how far you've come and realize like, hey, that's all me. I can't thank anyone but myself for the progress that I've made, and that's so motivating, because if I've already made this much progress, I can continue and make even more progress. And your progress is really limitless as long as you just continue to put in the work. The progress is going to come. That's the most motivating to me, and that's what I think of when I think of like an idol. An idol is someone who I'm motivated by, and plain and simple, that's not something I can find really externally. So there are people I admire their physiques. There's no one I want to look like though, because obviously they're different than me. It's not like I look and be like, wow, I really want to look like Laura Lee. I don't, because that's not how my body is shaped. I will never look like that. So it's not gonna help me in any way to be like, wow, I want to look like that, right? I want to look like how my body is at its full potential. So probably not the answer anyone wants to hear, but that's the honest truth. So what are my current goals? So my current goals, obviously I want to become a pro, go to the Olympia, win the Olympia. That's obviously the goal, right? But if we're talking about obtainable this season, what's something I really am setting out to accomplish? I want to win an overall. That would be something I would be so grateful and so proud and so happy to be able to do. Win an overall at a show, and at a show where it's a competitive show. Like, I don't want it to be something where there's 3 people in my class and everyone else is a true novice and I win my class, and then there's 4 other classes and most are true novice. Like, I wouldn't feel fulfilled with by doing something like that. Like, obviously, yes, it's nice to be able to be acknowledged, like, hey, you're the best that's been here today, but I really want to be able to win an overall at a competitive show. So that's something that I really would love to do. And then at the national level, obviously would be thrilled, over the moon, to go pro this year. But to be realistic about things, I've never even got first call outs at a national show, so I would love to get top 5. I think I rambled for too long because my video just stopped by itself, but we're here. Anyways, top 5 at a national show, and I would be so freaking proud. I mean, honestly, I'm so freaking proud at this point, just based off my physique this year versus last competition season. But in terms of goals, that's what we're talking. What are some of my hobbies outside of bodybuilding? I like to say I'm someone who I enjoy a lot of things, and that's a big reason why I struggled to find my one true passion, is because I felt like I had so many different interests and I was good at so many different things, but there was never that one thing that stood out above everything else. So just to name a few things, I love animals. I have my little Petey's sitting here sleeping next to me. I have 4 cats, if you guys don't know that. I love animals. I love animals so much. I think animals are the purest little souls that there are. I really like music. I took AP Music Theory in high school. I almost went to school to become like a music teacher, a choir teacher. I really like music. I think it'd be really cool to produce. I like to sing. I've been in choir my whole life, concert choir, show choir, choir nerd, love to sing. I do just like pretty much all things active. I really enjoy doing things. I like to swim, I like to snowboard. I surfed for the first time last year. I love just like playing catch, throwing around a football, playing frisbee. I guess that could be, I just like being outside and being active and doing things. I really like that. I guess that could also be like, I really like nature. I like being outside. I like being in the ocean. I like being at the beach. I like being in the mountains. I like being outside. Those are pretty much like my main hobbies. Oh, I really like to read. Nothing is more relaxing than a good book to me. I'm a big reader. Now, it is really hard for me to get into a book, but once I find a book that I like I can sit down and I can read it all in one day, and that's something that I would love to do more of, and I plan to do more of. So reading is something that I really do enjoy. And another thing is I just like to hang. I like to be with people that I love. I love to hang out with Tori and just be around and just hang. I don't think it's really a hobby, but those are the things that I like, and that's kind of more about me and what I like. Now these last 2 are not necessarily about like me, but questions that I got on Instagram. So dealing with seeing your body change and get leaner in prep, specifically in regards to not liking it and liking how like small that you're getting. When it comes to prepping, I fully believe that the way you're going to be the most successful is by being 100% happy and confident at your heaviest before you even think about getting into a prep. And if you jump into a prep because you think being leaner and seeing yourself getting leaner is going to help you like yourself more, I'm gonna stop you right there because it's just gonna do the complete opposite. If you go into a prep not being happy with where you're at or already having body image issues, competing and prepping is going to magnify those to the millionth degree, because you're gonna see yourself get lean to a point where it's not sustainable for you to live in that body. So if you get super lean and you're like, I really like how I look right now, that's gonna fuck with you once you start getting to a healthy, normal amount of body fat. You have to have fat on your body to be healthy. It just, you can't walk around stage lean and feel good and live a healthy life. It's just not realistic. I mean, there is this small percentage of people that genetically they can stay that lean, but for most people, we need a little fat on our bodies, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That's when you're gonna feel your best and perform your best in the gym and be the happiest version of yourself. So be completely content with your off-season weight, and then recognize that, you know, if you're getting into the sport of bodybuilding, that's just part of the sport, and it has to be something that you can handle. You have to see yourself getting leaner. You have to be able to handle seeing yourself getting bigger, and that's just part of the sport. And if that's something that scares you or something that you can't deal with mentally or something that's going to harm your mental health, then bodybuilding just might not be the sport for you, and that's okay. It's okay to just go to the gym and lift weights and grow muscle and have aesthetic goals outside of bodybuilding, because I think that's the big thing I see that makes bodybuilding get a bad reputation, is people doing it for the wrong reasons. You have to be a bodybuilder because you love the grind. You love the day in, the day out, the struggle, the highs, the lows. You have to love the whole process. You can't be in it because you you like how you look when you're lean, or you like how people treat you when you're leaner, or like you like the attention you get when you're lean. That's not the right reasons. And if that's what you like, then hey, just get lean for fun and don't compete, and don't blame bodybuilding before your eating disorder. Long story short, I could go on a rant with that topic for a while, but you just have to acknowledge that it's part of the sport. Getting leaner, getting bigger, it's just something that we have to do and we have to be okay with. You know, if you're looking at yourself stage lean and you're like, I don't like being this small, no one truly likes themselves stage lean. Like, honestly, when a bikini competitor especially is, what is going on up there? What are you doing? I think my neighbors are literally rearranging their entire apartment or something up there, so sorry if you can hear that. Anyways, no bodybuilder truly like really enjoys themselves stage lean, because especially bikini girls off stage, like, we're tiny. Like, the stage makes you look a lot bigger, a lot fuller, a lot muscular than you actually are. Like, walking around day to day, I feel like a little stick person. So no one really truly likes themselves getting smaller, and it's just something that we have to deal with. You know, if it's an issue of you just being too small, then take the time to grow so you're not so small when you do get stage lean. And again, that's just part of the sport. We have to get lean, we have to grow, we have to get lean. It's part of the sport. We have to be okay with that. Now, this last question is something that I actually am probably going to make an entire video on, but someone did ask me about, you know, my relationship in regards to like fitness and bodybuilding. And I am very, very thankful that I have the most supportive partner in the entire world, because I know bodybuilding can ruin a relationship, but it can come from both sides. So Tori is my boyfriend, obviously, of 8 years. We've been together for a long time, but he's been here before bodybuilding. So he's seen me get started into bodybuilding, transform into a bodybuilder, and then now live this lifestyle. So he's been with me throughout the whole transition. So it's not like I was a bodybuilder and I met this person and then we were together and he had to adjust and adapt to the lifestyle. It's just something that we've kind of grown into together, and I feel like that does help. He is not a bodybuilder. I know a lot of people think like, oh, you're a bodybuilder, you have to be dating a bodybuilder. Like, no, not at all. I actually would rather not date a bodybuilder. I feel like that's just a recipe for disaster right there. But he is super understanding from the aspect of he also has something he's passionate about. And this is super, super important when you have a partner who might not necessarily understand bodybuilding or be a bodybuilder. As long as they have something that they are also passionate about, they should understand, like, hey, sometimes this needs to be prioritized because it is my passion, it is my main goal. And if someone doesn't have a passion themselves and you're sitting there and you have to prioritize bodybuilding every now and again, they're gonna look at it as like, oh, I'm not good enough, or why can't I be your priority all the time? And that's just jealous, insecure person and relationship, and that's just not going to work. And this is why I said I probably need a whole video on this topic, and let me know if that's even something you're interested in, because again, bodybuilding can ruin relationships if both sides aren't understanding of the entire situation. And on top of that, it is important as a bodybuilder to communicate when you might be feeling lower energy, or you might be getting to that part of prep, and doing everything in your power. It's up to you not to let your prep and your things affect your partner as well. You are choosing to be a bodybuilder, you are choosing to prep. You don't have to take it out on everyone around you. So even if you're feeling low energy, you're feeling crabby, tired, you can't sit there and bitch at everyone and be a bad, negative person in people's life because of a choice that you made. So that's kind of long story short on that. But no, Tori's not a bodybuilder. Yes, he does come to the gym with me. It's not like he was like a huge, big fitness person. It's something that I found myself and then I brought into both of our lives because he sees it as a benefit for both of us. Like I said, everyone can benefit from fitness. So he comes to the gym with me, he spots me, he works on himself, he sees the benefits from being a healthy person in the gym. So it is just a positive thing for both of us, and I love that that's something that we can share. And I love our time at the gym because I feel like it is like still our little time together when we get to go to the gym and work out together and both work on ourselves. But he doesn't have any desire to be a bodybuilder or really be a huge fitness person, but he is 100% supportive of what I do, my goals and my dreams, and I'm so thankful that I have someone who understands that and is along for the ride with me. So that makes me super happy, and what we have is very, very special. So happy about that. But that is all the questions that I have, and that's really pretty much all you guys need to know to really know me. I'm a pretty simple person, but I'm also a very open book. So if you guys do have any questions or anything that I didn't touch on, just leave them in comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. Or if you have any topics you want me to go more in depth about in future videos, let me know and I will do my best to cover anything and everything. I do, obviously, since this is my prep series and my prep vlogs, want to keep this pretty prep focused, but at the same time, I do just want to be able to be someone to help educate you guys and help you learn more about fitness in general, because at the end of the day, that's my main goal with all of my platforms, to be able to help and educate people about health and fitness and let you know that it's not complicated, it's not hard, and if I can do it, literally anyone can do it. Like, ask anyone who grew up with me. I'm the last person people would have thought would be a competitive bodybuilder when they were older, but we're here and we're very, very happy about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little Q&A. I hope you guys learned something new about me and now know me a little bit better. But that's all I have for you for this week. I'm not vlogging this week because Tori's parents are in town, so that's kind of going to be the focus for this week. But we'll pick back up with a nice little vlog into next week. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great week and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!